What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin Cash today. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. I was looking at my channel content, and I've gotten the most, absolutely the most, where is it now? Right here, the most dislikes that I've ever had in a Bitcoin Cash video. And I think it's interesting that I had 30 dislikes. Normally when I get a lot of dislikes, I get a lot of negative comments, but I really only had like the usual suspects, the usual hyenas in the chat saying negative things. So either I've got a lot of people who just really didn't like the video and they didn't even feel like commenting, which that isn't really common. And normally when I get a lot of dislikes, I have people talking shit. You suck, you know, like that's the normal thing. Or maybe one of these hyenas just literally has no life and they made a bunch of YouTube accounts. And I kind of think I know which one of them would have done that. But maybe I'm just fabricating that all on its own. But fun fact for anybody, if you did do this, if you did make multiple accounts to hit that or not, fun fact, it doesn't actually hurt the growth of the channel getting dislikes, right? In fact, to do this, you got me more views, and more views does help the growth of the channel. So thank you. Keep doing it. I always say this. My haters are actually my most dedicated fans. They watch every video. They want to watch every single second of it to get a slip up, right? Maybe they don't watch every second of it, and then they write some comment that's absolutely inaccurate and a lie, and then I own them in the comments, and then they have to watch the whole video to try to find a fault in my logic, and they just can't. You guys are my most dedicated fans, so shout out to the haters, shout out to the Dragon Rider, shout out to the House of the Dragon. Of course, I love you guys the most, but those haters, man, those hyenas, they really are what they truly are is a dedicated fan base, and me saying that actually might be a bad thing. So I'm not gonna say it again. I've wanted to say it just because I noticed this. I mean, I think I know who's responsible for that, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just trying to fabricate something because I want to be likable. I don't know, but whatever. Anyways, let's move on. Enough about my vanity here. We're looking bullish, guys. We're looking hella bullish, very damn bullish. You know, what we're doing right now is very constructive on the fibs. We moved up to the 382, moved down to the 236. We moved up to the 0.5, we're moving down to the 382. We're moving up to the 618. Maybe we move down to the 0.5, and then we move up, you know, whatever. Our target area ultimately right now for this breakout move of this inverse head and shoulders, right? Our left shoulder here, our head, our right shoulder. The breakout move itself is all the way up at $575. So again, as I've been saying, it could just happen, you know, in a straight line, which is not normally the case, or, you know, it could happen like this where we're just zigging and zagging our way up there. It could go beyond the target. The target area is actually like somewhere right around here, right? And maybe a little bit higher, actually, like right around here. Target area. It could go beyond, it could fall short. There's plenty of reasons, plenty of areas of support. The golden ratio itself is right here in this little white zone to find resistance there. There's plenty of reasons why we could find resistance here. The breakout move itself would indicate that we go higher. There's also plenty of reasons why we could go higher because we have these, you know, resistance points up here. And overall, I think BCH could see a very strong move when it wants to move up. I mean, this is what it does in breakout moves, right? It just makes its way up there. But I feel very confident, you know, enough beating around the bush. I feel very confident that we found our low here. I'm going to call for it right now. And if I'm wrong, if I'm wrong, we're definitely fine. Because the lowest that I would expect us to go would be like $401. That's about 2.4% away from this low. The reason why I feel comfortable and confident calling the low here is that if we look at the BCH BTC chart, and I actually went over this in the grayscale video that I just made, but I was looking at this earlier. Hey, and there you go, right? I've got the line on there. On a daily perspective, we closed right at the previous areas of resistance. So this could be where we find support for this run, right? If we look at this from a low point to a high point here, we're bouncing right off the 382, very strong move up, 382, that's classic whenever you see this thing continue to move up. This could be somewhat of a bull flag if you look at it on a 4-hour basis, right? And the measure move itself of the bull flag would actually take us very near our measure move of the inverse head and shoulders pattern, right? If we draw it from right here, measure move would take us all the way up to about 543. The measure move of the inverse head and shoulders is 575, so pretty damn close. Not even a 10% difference, maybe like a 6 or 7% difference, something like that. The daily RSI looks bullish as hell. I don't like that we kind of rejected the overbought zone. I don't like that, but Let's see if we can find examples of that. I don't know if these are the best examples. Different times, different kind of times, because we were above the RSI here, consolidating. We're here, or not the RSI, sorry, the 123 moving average. Here we're below it, and we're not consolidating. We're actually breaking out, so kind of different circumstances. If we can get back above, if we can move up today and get above this 60 level on the RSI, that would be really good. That would look like we're finding support here, right? Where we've kind of found resistance in this area. If we can move up and find support here, that'd be nice too. And then again, just really this 382, relatively speaking, from this low here to this high, I think is a pretty nice look in itself. Pairing that with closing at previous areas of resistance, BCH, BTC broke out. This is a breakout move right here. Consolidating right at the breakout point before moving higher, such a common maneuver on any and every chart, right? Doesn't mean it has to, but it's very common to do that exact thing. If we take the overall high of this consolidation phase to the overall low, we are also finding support just above the 382, which isn't common, but that normally correlates with a very bullish behavior, right? It's like if you reach for the 618 but you don't quite get there, that actually is a bearish thing. That's a pretty bearish thing, right? Finding resistance on the 618 is one thing. That's very common, right? But reaching for it and not getting there is not a good thing normally. Not always, but normally it would promote like lower, right? That's like front running of selling. This could be a front running of buying, and maybe it's because of the correlation of BCH BTC. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we move down by 2.6%, whatever it is, down to this $408 area. Maybe I'm right, and we bounce right off of this 382. Tomato, whatever. It's okay. Either way, I don't think we're going to break below $400. We could move down today. Sometimes these downward movements come in pairs of threes or sets of threes. I guess a pair would be two, right? But we could absolutely just move up from here today. If we look at the 4-hour RSI, we are below the 40, which to me would imply that we go lower, to be completely fair. The 1-hour RSI does look bearish, and that would also call for lower prices. We are below the 123 moving average, this green line here. Let's see, inputs 120. All right. I want to do the RSI. 123, 123. We are above the 50. Generally speaking, not always, but generally speaking, when you're below the 123 moving average, but your RSI is above the 50, this is like a prime area to buy, right? In uptrends, that's normally a prime area to buy. In downtrends, it's the opposite. If you're above this 123, but your RSI is below the 50, it's a prime area to sell. Here, we can see we're actually bouncing off the 50 right here on the RSI, and we were below this line. That was like a perfect area to buy if, in this consolidation phase was right below this green line. Obviously, the perfect area to buy would have been here, but for this like relative area of consolidation, it was right below the green line. Here consolidated a lot, kind of not accurate on the 1 hour. I've noticed on the shorter term time frames, it's not always the most accurate thing, but you can see here time and time again, you were finding resistance on the green line, you were held down by it, but your RSI that whole time was above the 50. Perfect area to buy, literally at these low points here. Even if you bought at the high point, you could have made a decent trade in probably a relatively short amount of time if you were just patient enough, right? Let's see, on downtrends, yeah, it's not as perfect. I feel like it's not that good on shorter term time frames, but here above the 123, below the 50. Here you were both above the 123 and above the 50, but there's probably other things disagreeing, or correlating with the idea that you'd move down. I'm going to stop trying to show examples. It's not the most accurate thing, but it is something that I like to look at, right? No indicator is 100% accurate. Even if it's like 60% accurate, you at least have an edge, right? And this thing, most of the time, I'd say probably at least 60%, if not 70% of the time, it's pretty accurate. But anyways, we are below the 123 on the daily as well, yet above the 50 here, so that also would imply that we have some moving up to do. But again, we could move lower. We could move down to the 50. We could find support on the 50. We could move down to the 400 area, find support there. It's totally fine if we do. I'm just calling for us to have found our low, and we'll see if that's true. The last time that I called for a low was down here. It was actually literally on the day that we found our low, but it was not the tip. It was not the tip. No. I called for the low by the time I was making my video, and I called for the low, and you can go back and check it yourself if you don't believe me. It was on the 25th here. It would have been the first candle, right? It would have been this day, because I normally, just like right now, I'm making it on the first 4-hour candle, so it would have been right here on the 0 hour. I called for the low here. I was wrong by 0.69%. I don't know what to say about that, but I'm sorry. That's that's just a little bit. So maybe I'll be wrong by like more than that. Maybe I'll be wrong by like 2.6% here, or maybe I'll be right. I don't know, but I feel like that's pretty square. I'm not right all the time. Absolutely, I'm not trying to pretend that I am. I called for this to be the low, and I was wrong. I called for that to be the low, and I was wrong. This one, and I was wrong. I called for us to go lower than this when we finally got it, and I was wrong. But maybe I'm starting a new streak. We'll see. I don't know. Either way, guys, either way. Sometimes you're hot, sometimes you're not. I'm feeling hot. I think the dragon's breathing fire. We're going to move up sooner than later. If we move down, it'll only be minute compared to how much growth we have. And I've done a lot of talking. I think I'm done doing that. Maybe we can just look at this real quick if we want to. Yeah, I think we're fine. Weekly price does not look good. That's not a friendly looking candle. We still have 4 days left to turn things around, though. And I think we will. I really do. The 4 hour actually looks nice. This would be an area that you would expect to turn around. Yeah, it actually does look pretty nice. What about the 1 hour? Probably crossed, yeah. Daily's looking like it wants to cross. With moments like this, it is very common to pull back to your ribbon before moving higher. Perhaps we move down slowly and give this yellow line a chance to move up to that 400 area, and we literally kiss it before moving higher. That could make sense. But we don't have to, just because it's normal during a cross to pull back to your price. And let's see if we can find an example of that. Right, you're crossing here, finally crossing down. You kiss the ribbon. You even went a little bit through it. Actually, you went beyond afterwards, but then down. A good example technically, but not for the follow through. Let's see. Crossing up here, and you did pull back down toward it, but you didn't quite reach it, right? Or crossing up. Sorry, not crossing down. Not really any good examples here. Not every chart respects things the same way. And whenever you're moving sideways and consolidating, you kind of disrespect the ribbon more often. So not really any good examples. But I don't know. It wouldn't be strange if we moved lower. I'm not going to call for that personally. And if it happens, then whatever. I'm repeating myself. So at that, I'll leave it. If you guys like the video, hit that like button. If you don't like the video, hit the dislike button 30 times. And I will see you guys on the next one. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye. Oh, if anybody's here still, I know I say this all the time, right? And I'm not partnered with these guys at all. I think they're cool. I consider our relationship cordial. I consider people friends before they're even my friends. So I'm going to say it. They're my buddies. But the Bitcoin Cash podcast, you guys, Bitcoin Cash podcast. I feel like this last video that they made, and really the last few videos they've made, have been pretty damn good. But this one, I think it's very interesting. These guys here, Steve and Callisti, Steve and Callisti, I think are their names. If it's not Steve, I'm sorry. I know it's Callisti, but these guys are awesome. They're smart. Jeremy and Jet, of course, are awesome too. They do a great job. But I felt like this episode was brilliant. And some of the things that are going on with Bitcoin Cash, it makes me so excited for what's to come. We have underlying fundamental bullish things that can really generate the price to grow, right? When things catch on, it's just really, really cool stuff that they talk about in this video. If it's above your head, I get it. Sometimes these videos are, but I feel like most of what they talk about here isn't too above your head. If you're just paying attention, and it's a long video, it's 2 hours, 49 minutes, but it's a good video, man. I enjoy most of the videos they make, but I really enjoyed this video. I think that the two people that they had on here were just awesome in itself. I don't know. One more shout out to the Bitcoin Cash podcast. I very much would recommend anybody watch this video. Number 123, I love the 123, you guys. It makes sense that the 123 video would be a go-ahead video for Bitcoin Cash, man. We are going ahead and showing progress, and it's exciting stuff that's going on, man. I really enjoyed several different parts. I thought that the part about the stamps and just potential geocaching and stuff like that they're talking about maybe not or yeah geocaching, but there's they call it like the Pokemon Go, like to gamify Bitcoin Cash. I'm not going to talk about it because I'm not the best versed of it, but I feel like they talk about it in a way that is easy to understand, is easy to comprehend, and it happens a little bit over halfway through the video, or like even like 3/4 of the way through the video. But the whole thing's great. Definitely would recommend anybody who wants to know what's going on with Bitcoin Cash, or like some features that you might not have even been aware of that are possible with the Selene wallets and stuff like that, and Selene itself. Just there's some cool things going on, guys, behind the scenes. And the price is, it's always fun to talk about it going up, of course it is, but the underlying stuff is what gives us a leg to stand on, and these guys are doing that. So I think it's worth a watch, and I'm done. I'm done shilling the Bitcoin Cash podcast. You won't hear from me again until tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.